Hello guys, welcome to the course. My name is Nash, and in this course I'm going to be teaching you everything you need to know to get started with editing your videos in VSDC video editor. Now you can use the free version, you can use the pro version. It is going to work. Now there's going to be some resources that you need to download. They're going to be below this video, this tutorial, on the resources section. There's going to be a couple of videos, an audio file, and a couple of images. I'm going to be using those throughout this course. So go ahead and download VSDC video editor and practice what you learn from each tutorial. So let's go ahead and get started. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to navigate in VSDC video editor, as well as how to start a quick project. Now, when you open it, this is what you're going to see. There's a lot of things going on here. It could be a little confusing if it's your first time, opening this. Now on the bottom here, don't really pay attention to this. These are just tutorials and letting you know some of the features that are in VSDC. Now, right above it, we have some shortcuts that you're likely to use, right? So the first one is starting a blank project. You also have, creating a slideshow, importing content, which could be photos, videos, and maybe audio files. You can capture some video. You can capture the screen, like screen recording, right? Now, right, so as you can see here, I'm using the pro version. Now, you don't need to use the pro version. The free version is going to work well, right? This is a free video editing program, but if you want to use some of the advanced features, which we're not going to be covering in this course, you'd have to purchase the pro version. So if you have the pro version, you only want to go to activate, and you can activate it through here. So let's go back to projects here. So as you can see, we have, some of those buttons that you're going to find that you might be familiar with. The first one is new project. You can open a project if you already have a project saved. And you also have templates here if you want to use, template. This is some of the advanced stuff. Now, let me show you how to start a project. You're going to go ahead and click new project up here, or you can click blank project. Okay, doesn't matter. So let's click new project. Now we're going to be greeted with this pop-up button here. Now you can name your project. I'm going to name this course, something like that, project. Okay, now you can fill these up, if you want to do that. But for the most part, when I'm using this, I don't really fill this out. If you want to, you put your name here, copyright, description, you can do all of that. You can even change the date if you want to do that. Now down here we have more things that we can change. So we have the device over here. This is going to be what device are you editing the video for. Let's say I'm editing this for YouTube, right? I'm going to click YouTube. Or if I'm doing this for iPhone and things like that. So I like to keep it on free configuration, right? This is going to allow me to just not specify what I want it to be to begin with, because you can always change that when you're rendering the video out, right? So when I do free configuration, now the resolution is, click this drop down. There's so many options. So my favorite one to go to is going to be, the full HD 1920 by 1080 16 by 9 resolution. But if you want to do something like 4K, you have options up here. If you want to do anything lower than that, you have options down here. Okay, you can also set a custom resolution. So for this, I'm going to go with full HD 1920 by 1080 16 by 9 aspect ratio. So click on that. Now the frame rate here, you can change this if you want to do that. So for this, let's keep it at 30 FPS. If you move on over here, we also have the width, the height, which is the same thing as the resolution, right? So this is going to get picked up from the resolution. You also have the frequency channels. I don't really change this stuff here. Now the background, you can leave it as black, not really important. Opacity, you can leave it at 100%. If you have templates, this is the advanced stuff that we're not going to be covering in this tutorial. Now down here, you have the ability to select what you want this to be, right? This entire project. So this is going to be a blank project because we want to start this from scratch. So go ahead and hit finish. There we go. Now we have started our project. So that's what I wanted to show you guys in this tutorial. So here you have more options here, right? You can now close the project. You can close all projects. You can save your project here. You can pack the project, and you can preview the project. Pretty cool stuff here. So you have, things to add scenes and, editing, view. We're going to cover this in future videos. But for now, I just wanted to show you guys, some of how you can navigate through this, as well as how you can, actually, let me show you here. So if you go to scenes up here, now, actually, if you go to view, you see these little boxes here. You can change these by, by selecting them over here. So let's say I wanted to see the properties window. I can click on this. So you can see this is going to be down here. So go ahead and move this. Or if I wanted to remove the resource window, right, this right here, when I deselect that, it's gone, right? This is the basic effects window. So let's say I want to add the properties instead. It's going to be added right here, right? So this is kind of like how you can, add these boxes here. Or if you can't find it, just go to view and you're going to be able to kind of like select it over here. Okay. Now you can also, move them around like that, or, kind of like that. If you want to move it this above this, or you can also auto hide right where it's hidden, right? You can do that as well. And if it's hidden like this, right, let's say I want to close this one, you can just click on it and it'll kind of like slide back in, right? Or you can, same thing, auto hide, and you can open it up like this. Okay, I like doing it this way because it's very clear. You're not gonna have any distractions here. As you can see, I just deleted the other one, so I can just go back here and basic effects. As you can see, it's right here. Now I'm going to go ahead and auto hide it. Now it's added to my panel here. Okay, so yeah, that's pretty much it for this lesson. I just wanted to show you guys kind of like an overview and navigation and how to start a new project. But I'll see you guys on the next lesson. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to import videos, images, as well as audio files. So there's a couple ways you could do this. The first way to do it is to essentially just pull up the folder that has the what you're trying to import. So let's say we're going to import video 1. I'm going to click, drag, and put it right here on the timeline. Doesn't matter where you put it right here. Give it a second. I'm going to minimize this. There we go. Now we have it on the timeline here. So what I like to do once I import a video is, let me go ahead and adjust this by going right here. You're going to see that those 2 arrows with the double lines in the middle. I'm going to move this up a little bit, kind of like that. Okay, kind of like that. All right, great. Actually, that's right here is good. Okay, cool. Now you can also adjust this entire thing. See, this looks very tiny. So if you only had a couple of videos, you can do the same thing here. Now it looks a lot better. All right. So now if you hover over the video, you're gonna get the video information here. So you can see that there is, it tells you the name of the video. It tells you where it's saved. It tells you the audio information and things like that. All right. Now, once you do this, you can preview the video. Obviously, you can click this preview, and as you can see, this is going to preview the video, and as well as you can change the quality, right? This is, if I go back here, you can see that this is a 1920 by 1080p video, right, on the resolution here. Now, if you want to preview this in a smaller resolution, you can change this down here, so 720p. So this is gonna help you if you have a big file, like the big video that might lag, and if your computer is slow, you might want to change it to 720. You click on this, there you go. It's gonna preview for you in 720p. Okay. Now, the second way to import a video or image, it's the same thing. If you had an image, you would do it that way. So let's get photo number 1, and we're gonna put it right above this right here. As you can see, we have our photo. We can make it a little bigger as well, like that. And it's going to be the same thing for the audio as well. Okay. Now, another way you can import a video is by going to, you go to editor up here. Now you want to add an object, right? Click add object. Now you have 3 options here: image, audio, and video, right? So you have to pick. So let's pick video here, or you can use Shift V as that's the shortcut. If you click on that, you have to navigate to the folders. Let me go ahead and copy the link to this, and I'll just put it on here. So let's grab video number 2. So click on that. Okay. Now you're gonna have this pop up here. So essentially what it's asking you is, where do you want the video to be at, to start it, right? Where do you want us to place the video? So my favorite option here is going to be from cursor position. So this is going to be wherever this playhead is, that's where the video is going to be put. So it doesn't really matter because you can always move it around, right? You can always move around the video. Now the second option you need is going to be the layer position. So you always want to insert to layer, right? So you can create, you know, it's going to be added on the same layer. Or if you want to add a new layer, you can do it this way. So we can do add new layer so that it's on a different layer, kind of like that. Okay. So for this, go back to insert to layer because we want to use the same one, right? I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. There we go. So it's going to be added on that same layer, right? So if let me go ahead and delete this so I can show you. So I'm going to go to video. If I pick video number 2, and I say add new layer right here, right? So from cursor position or to cursor position, doesn't really matter. New layer, start. As you can see, this goes on a brand new layer, right? That is right here. Okay, awesome. So this is, we can even make this a little bigger as well, kind of like that. Yeah. See if we can make it a little bigger. Okay, cool. Kind of like that. All right, so these are our videos. That's how you import a video. Now, if you look on the left side here, you see that you also have all your resources. Everything you imported is going to be right here. So you can delete this if you want to do that. So let's say I wanted to delete video number 2, right? This one right here. So you can right click on the video itself and hit delete. That, as you can see, it's gone. So another way to delete is by selecting the clip and hitting delete on the keyboard. As you can see, it's gone. Okay. Oh, a couple more things here. Let's say you wanted to preview this without having the pop out. You can just use the play button, and it's gonna play on the timeline, right? Without having to pop this one out, right? Without using this little window. So that's one way to do that. So that is pretty much, that is how you're going to be able to import images, photos, and audio files. You can click, drag, and drop on the timeline, or you can go to editor and you can import, you can add object, and you want to go to these 3, right? Depending on what you're trying to add. Yeah, so that is pretty much it. I'll see you guys on the next video. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to import multiple videos in VSDC. So to get started here, we're gonna go to open up our folder that has all the videos that we want to import. So let's say I want to import all of these 3 videos here, right? I can click, drag, and drop them on the timeline. Now, if I go back to the program, you're gonna see there is a pop-up that, you know, tells you that you're trying to open, you know, several objects. Now there's 2 options here. You have add to layer and you have open in wizard. So I'm going to show you how to add to layer. So if you click add to layer, you can see this is going to add all the videos in one layer. So it's going to be one after the other, right? But you can always move these around. Maybe you want to move it here, or you want to put this on a different layer. You can do that, and you can move this one here, right? And you can even play the videos over here. So you can see this is the first one. Now you go into the second one, and you can go back here. Okay. All right. So that's one way to add multiple videos. So I'm going to go ahead and delete all these videos here. I'm going to hit delete on the keyboard. The second way to do this is going to be do it the same way. Click, drag, drop it on here. Now we can use what's called a wizard, right? So if I click open in wizard, this is going to pop up. Give it a second to load here, depending on how many videos or images or how much audio you're importing. Now you can see that my videos have been added to different scenes here. Okay. Now you can see this is the first one, second one, and third one. Now you can click here to add another one if you wanted to do that. Let's say I wanted to add this photo here, right? You can add that on there, so you can keep adding more things. Now in between this is gonna in between these is gonna be the transition, right? This is our transition here in between the scenes. Now you can change how you want it to be. So you have horizontal, so you can always play it up here. Let's see here. We'll play this, maybe not. All right, so here you can select how you want the videos to transition, right? So you can do this, you can do that one. Now you have, you know, different styles over here on the side. If you click one of these, you're going to see the options that are within that. Okay, so you do push door, do, what is it, vertical. That looks good. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and So those are pretty much the settings here. So you can add effects if you want to do that. So as you can see, I've added an effect here. It changes the color. So if I go to this one, let's say I want to add perspective to this, and I click add effect, kind of like that, it's going to be added right here. Okay. Now you can do the same thing for over here as well, right? Or you can select all of these, right? It's going to select the places where you can add effects. If you just wanted to apply one effect, you can say, I just want to use this horizontal. I'm going to add the effect. It's going to be added to all the ones that are selected. Okay. Now you can also add files, which is the same thing as clicking one of these, and it's going to allow you to add the files. Okay. Now, once you're done, you're going to hit apply settings, right? It's going to take a while. So as you can see here on the timeline, let me move this to the beginning and make this a little bigger. Okay, so this is going to create what's called a sprite. Okay, so we can let's preview this so you guys can see how it looks. So we have our first video. I want to show you the transitions that we added that are going to be in between the videos, like that. As you can see, this is the other video, and you can play this, and I believe there's going to be the same transition into the other video. Okay, now this is called a sprite, right? And if you wanted to look at the entire video, you can just double click on the sprite. So double click on it. This is going to open up. This is going to show you exactly how everything is structured, right? It's like a layer within a layer. So this is our first video, and you can see in between here is our transition, right, that we put, and then here as well, and then here as well. So that's a sprite. So that is how you create sprites like that. So if you want to go back, you can go back to scene 0. You have your sprite. If you want to go into it, you click on this, and if you don't have it, let me go ahead and close that. So you can double click on this. Now you're within the sprite. Now if you look over here, you can see there's some things that are kind of like advanced that you can edit. So if you wanted to hide this, you can do that. You can bring it back, and you also have, you know, the blend type over here, which is going to be not in this course because we're just trying to cover the basics. So that's kind of like how you can do that, you know, create a sprite where you can import a bunch of videos and add transitions, and then, you know, just have one long sprite or video and export that as your final video. And also, if you look on the left side here of the screen, you can see that this is our scene. We have a sprite. So if you close this, right, this is a sprite. If you open this, it's going to tell you what's in the sprite, right? So if I close all these like that, we're going to open video number 1. What's within video number 1? There's a video and there's a transition. Then it goes to video number 2. What's within this? You have this, because I added 2 effects, remember that. And then here as well, same thing. All right, so those were the 2 ways that you can use to add multiple videos in VSDC. So I'll see you guys on the next lesson. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to trim, split, and add markers on your videos. So let's go ahead and import a couple of videos here. Let's get 2 of these, and we'll just drop it on here. Let's go back here, add to layers. You can see we have our 2 videos here, so we can even rearrange this by putting them on different layers. So let's go ahead and make this a little bigger as well. All right. So first things first here, I want to show you how to trim the video. So trimming the video is quite easy. You can just go to the end of the video and you can trim it down, right? So you're just getting rid of this part of the video. Now, another way to trim is by maybe trimming up. Maybe you want to fill out some white space. You can increase this, right? So as soon as it gets past the actual video, you're going to see the red line that's right here. So you have a red line here. So essentially what's happening here is if I play the video, you can see, there you go. Now it's a still image. So what happens is that once it hits the end of the actual video, it's going to take a screenshot and it's just going to display that all the way here. So it's going to display the image, the screenshot that it takes of the last frame for the rest of the, you know, the duration of the video. So if you're wondering why, if you increase your video to fill out something, you're going to get an image up here. Okay. So trimming, super easy. So you can do it the other way as well, right? You can trim the beginning of the video. You can trim the end of video. Now, how do you split a video? Select this one. There's a couple ways to do this. The first way is going to be to go to editor up here, and there's a razor that is up here. Most important thing is make sure that the video or clip is selected that you're trying to cut, right, or split. Now, if you hover over this razor here, you can see that this is the split tool, And you can also access this by doing Control K. That's the keyboard shortcut. Now, if I click on this, you're gonna see that, give it a second, there you go, our video is actually split now, so I can move this separately, right? Now we can do this using the shortcut. Make sure that it's selected. I'll do Control K. There you go. Now the video is split, so I can move this to a different layer. Okay, so that's the shortcut and the fast way of doing it. There's also another way of doing this where you can right click on this and you can go to cutting and splitting. All right, so what you can do here is you can go to markers here, and let's say you wanted to delete from here, so I can add a marker kind of like that, and let's say through here I'll add another marker right there. So now you have two markers. I'm gonna go ahead and hit apply changes. Now you're gonna have this little box, these are gonna be selected. Split the file using the set of markers. So that's gonna allow you to split the file, right, using where the markers are. So if you know the timings, if you put it at 7 seconds and you put the other timer at 13 seconds, that is where you're gonna see the split. And you also have remove source object here. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit OK. And you can see that now we have a split right exactly where we had the marker. So that is one way of splitting the video. I do recommend just using the razor tool here, or you can do the shortcut, which is Control K. Now, the last thing I want to show you is going to be how to add markers. So let's say I wanted to add markers on this video here, on this clip. Now, the easiest way to do this is to go on the toolbar that is right above the layers right here, and you're gonna see this create marker button here. It's tiny, but you should be able to find it. If you click on this, you're gonna be greeted with this little box here. So it's asking you to name your marker. So if you wanted, something specific to remember the marker by, maybe you're saying add effect starting here or cut the video starting here, something like that. Do that, or you can even show the name on the timeline, right? You can add comments if it's a big project and you want to go back and reference, some of the things you're trying to remind yourself. You can change the color. You can also, make it a comment marker or a segmentation marker. So these are the two types, right? If you want to segment your video, you can select this. If it's just a comment that you want to leave on there, you can select comment. And here I always leave it on visible in self, scope, and child objects. Go ahead and hit OK. As you can see, now we have our marker right here. This is our comment marker, right? Now we can go to do the same thing here. You can add another one. You can add unlimited markers here. Let's say you want to do a segment. Go ahead and hit OK. All right, so that is pretty much it when it comes to how you can split videos, how you can add markers, and how you can trim videos in VSDC video editor. And I'll see you guys on the next video. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to crop, rotate, change the speed of a video, and a bunch of other things. So let's go ahead and get started here. As you can see, I still have the clips that we had from the previous video. We're just going to be using these. All right, so let's work on this first clip here. All right, now let me add another one actually, so we can have more clips to look at. So when I go to, let me grab a clip, grab this one, and we'll put it right here, right down here. Okay. All right. Awesome. Now we just have an additional clip. Okay, so what I'm going to do here, the first things first, I'm going to show you how to crop, right? So let's say I wanted to zoom into this, right? Kind of like have a closer view. I can select the clip itself. Let me go ahead and just move this over here. So select the clip. I'm going to go up here to editor, and we have a crop tools here. So if you click on that, there's going to be a pop-up here. So this is where you're going to be able to kind of like crop the video. So here I'm going to crop it in like that. So I'm going to zoom in, right? Zoom into his face, kind of like that. You can go ahead and hit OK. Now the video is zoomed in. You can kind of like see the video in the background as well that I just added. But if I did move this out of the way, you're going to see that it's a black screen. Okay. So now this video is cropped. So if I select this and I hit preview here, play this is zoomed in. Okay, and it's only a short clip, that's why it disappeared. Let's say we had this, we can actually go back to the crop, and you can readjust this as well. Okay, you can readjust and like that. Let's say you wanted to maybe do an angle here, Also, if you look at this drop down here, it says set the original size. You can click this drop down. There's gonna be a bunch of other options here, so you might want to, like set the size in accordance with the image's aspect ratio. So if you have an image that is or video that is 16:9 aspect ratio, you kind of like want to keep that. You can also have center alignment. I don't really mess with these settings. I just set the original size. So I select this, you see that this is a different angle here, okay? Now, let's say you wanted to rotate this video. So I have the clip selected. I can go to these two under editor as well. There's gonna be to rotate 90 degrees clockwise, and then another button to rotate negative 90 degrees counterclockwise, right? So if I click this, you can see that the video gets rotated clockwise. If I do the same, it's back to normal, right? So you can rotate as much as you want here, okay? Something like that. All right, so another cool thing you can do if you wanted to crop the video without having to go through this button here, you can just go to the edges of the video here, make sure it's selected, the clip itself. If you go to the edge, you can resize this as well, okay? So you want to resize it to look like that, kind of like that. They say we want to put it, let's make it a little smaller, kind of like that, okay? Here, maybe we want to put it right here, okay? Awesome. Now, while we're here, let's say you wanted to, there's also an option to add transparency here. So if you click this drop down here, you can change the opacity, which is the transparency, right? So if you wanted this little video to be kind of like a see-through, since this is kind of like a picture-on-picture, you can lower the transparency of it. So you can see we start to be able to see through this as we lower the transparency, right? And if you look under this, there's also some quick options here. You can flip horizontally like that. So it's facing this way. You can also flip vertically as well, right? You have a vertical flip here. Okay, let's turn up our transparency because I can barely see that. Now, if I wanted to play this, let's go to the beginning here, preview this. You can see that both videos are playing at the same time, right? That's because one video is on top of the other and this doesn't cover the entire screen. So if I try to play the video here, right, this clip here, you're gonna see that we're only gonna be able to see this here, right? But for this one, this is much smaller. This is much smaller, and we also have a background video that we can see instead of a black screen. So if you didn't have this, it would just be a black screen here, okay? Now, the next thing I want to show you guys is going to be the video speed. We're going to do it on this one here. Let's make this a little bigger. All right, so this is the video here. Let's say we wanted to make this video a little faster. So if you go over to the right here, you can see that we have our properties here. This is our properties window, and we also have where is it at? Yeah, so properties window here. So this is where we're going to be able to change the speed. So if you don't have this, let's say you just don't have it on here, if you go over to view, you can be able to see things that you can add on here. So we want to add a properties window. So click on that. You can see it's going to be over here, and you can pin it if you want to do that. So we have it down here. All right, so to make this video faster, back to properties window, we're gonna go all the way down to speed here. So speed. Now all you gotta do is, if you want this to go faster, if you want to make the video go faster, make this over 100. Let's say I want to do 200, right? So twice as fast. Click enter, and I'll play the video for you. Preview this. You can see this is definitely faster. Okay, definitely faster here. Okay. All right, let me delete all these videos here so we can just have one video that we're dealing with, okay? Awesome. All right, select the video, properties window. Now we can change this. Let's change this to 500. If I play the video, see that this is a lot faster, like really fast. It's even lagging because it's pretty fast. If you want to make this slower, you can go under 100 to make it 50, like that. Click enter. If I preview this, so this is gonna be in slow-mo, like slow motion, kind of like that. Okay, so the normal speed is always gonna be at 100, right? So if you go over 100, it's gonna be faster. If you go under 100, it's gonna be a lot slower. All right, so that is pretty much it when it comes to how you can do all these things in VSDC video editor. So I'm gonna see you guys on the next video. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how you can add transition in between your clips. So let's go ahead and import our clips here. We just get all three. That we're going to add to the layer. There we go. Now we have our three clips here. Awesome. So we can put this one below. Let's see here. We can let's go over here, kind of like that. Okay, so we can put this above. So another quick way to move this clip, let's say I wanted to switch the layers here. I want this one on top and these two on the bottom. I can select this clip on the bottom here, and we can go to edit, and we can use the up or down arrow. So I can do up, so you can see it's going to be right above here. So let me go ahead and make this a little bigger. Let's say I wanted to get rid of this part here, so I'll do Control K, which is the shortcut for cutting this. And let's say I want to cut this over here as well. Control K. See here, give it a second. All right, I'm gonna delete the rest of this, and I'll also delete the other half. So now I have just this little clip here to kind of like fill the gap that's here. So one of the things you want to do when you're adding transitions is going to be to make sure that they overlap. So if you are trying to add a transition between these two clips here, right, make sure that they overlap. You need a little bit of overlap. That is going to be the duration of your transition. So if you have it overlap like this is going to be the duration of the transition, right? So just keep that in mind. So I'm going to add transitions to both here. So the beginning and the end as well, okay? So I want to make sure that this clip is selected, the one that is on top. And I'm going to go to, we're going to go to editor here, and I'm going to go to video effects. There's a drop down here, and we're going to go to transitions on the bottom. Now, these are the transitions that you have. So let's say we wanted to use shattered glass. I'm going to go ahead and select that, and go ahead and hit OK here. Don't change anything here. Go ahead and like that. Awesome. So this is gonna add the transition to the end of the clip by default, right? As you can see, we are within the video itself. So if I exit out of this, we go back to our scene. I'll play this so you guys can just see what's happening here. I'll just preview this. There you go. So the video is playing, and then it goes to that. You're gonna see the transition on this part here. See, this is the transition. Now we can move this around. If I double click on this video again, right here, double click on it, you're gonna go into the video, and you're gonna see the transition here, shattered glass. So you can move this. If you see this little marker here, that tells you that is the end of the video, right, or the end of the transition point. Now you can move this to the beginning here, right? If you move this, and you can exit out of this. Now if I play this, I'll preview this like that, and we're gonna have the transition at the beginning here. It's a little laggy here. Maybe we might want to lower this quality up here. Okay, now if we go back in here, we can add another transition here. So let's say I wanted to add a transition at the end here. So we can go back to editor, video effects, transitions. Let's add a page turn transition. Go ahead and hit OK. Now this is going to be added to the end here. So if I go back to our scene 0 here, and I'm going to preview this, we have our first transition over here, shattered glass. Now we're going to go ahead and have our page turn transition at the end. Okay, so that is how you're going to be able to add transitions in here. So that is pretty much it. I'll see you guys on the next video. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how you can add effects on your videos. So let's go ahead and get started here. I have this clip that we were using last time. So pretty simple clip here. Now to add effects, you always want to make sure that you have the clip selected that you're trying to add the effects to. So make sure that this is selected. Now you want to go to editor, and you're going to go to video effects up here. Now, my favorite thing to go to is going to be the quick styles. So this is kind of like, you know, like an Instagram, you know, filters that you can use. You just have to click on them. So first off, you have the option to remove all effects. If you already had effects on your video, it'll be able to do that for you. You also have some auto effects here that you can add, you know, that will analyze your footage and apply the appropriate amount of the effects, right? If you wanted to deal with the levels, you can just hit auto levels or auto contrast. Now you also have grayscale, temperature. You can all go all the way down here to Instagram style effects here. Okay, so for these two, let's say I wanted to apply the Apollo. Let's do the Hefe. If I click on this, this is going to be applied to my video here, right? Now, if I go back to video effects, quick styles, remove all effects, as you can see, I'm back at my original video. Now, if we go back to effects here, So this was the quick styles, and this is how you can remove effects here. So the auto levels, I think, is pretty good. It makes your videos look really great. I've used this a lot. As you can see, video looks great already. So if I go to the original, remove all, look at that, it goes back to that bluish look. Now, another option I want to show you here is you can add filters, right? So these are going to be, if you want to do filters, it's the same thing as this. So if I do stack blur and go ahead and hit OK, so you can add these filters above the video here, right? I still have my effects from the last video here, but this is the filter. So if I go back to the video, the entire video is going to have a filter. So that was just a quick detour on filters. So I'm going to go ahead and delete this filter here. I'll even remove these transitions that I added on the last tutorial. Okay, now we can go back to effects here. We can go to special effects, and this is where you have a bunch of options. So you have, if you want to do like TV effects, right? If you want to kind of like have, let's do noise TV, hit OK. Let me add it to your video. We go back to the scene. Now you see that the entire video has like this special effect here. Now to delete that, you can double click on the video. It'll take you inside here, right? And you can even, I just hit delete on the keyboard like that. Select it, delete, it's gone. Now you can add more here. I'll just show you a few more here. We have special effects. Now you have glitch. You can add a glitch effect. So go ahead and hit OK. You can even make this last the entire thing, right? Or maybe you want it for the last couple seconds of the video, right here. And I go back to the scene and let's preview this. We play this. There you go. Now you have the glitch down here, okay? So that's how you can add a bunch of effects. So my favorite, once again, is to go to quick styles, and here you have some pretty great options. And you can also go to, you can, do the filters here. And you can also go to special effects if you're doing something along those lines. You also have AI art generator. I recommend checking that out as well. So go ahead and experiment with this and see if you can find some really good filters for your video. And the cool thing is, like, if you don't want to apply like a filter, you can always go to quick styles and you can do auto levels. This always makes your video look really great. All right, so that is pretty much it, guys. All right, so that is pretty much it when it comes to how you can add video effects. Pretty simple. I'll see you guys on the next video. In this video, we're going to cover how you can do some basic color correction. But before we do that, from the last video, we had applied an effect on this clip. I want to show you how to delete that. So we have our clip here that has the effect. You can double click on it and it's going to take you inside the video. As you can see inside the video, you can select the auto contrast effect that we applied, and you can just hit delete on the keyboard, or you can use this little delete button here like that. It's gone. Okay, you can exit out of this. All right, cool. Now we have the original video. So how do you do some basic color correction on here? So we're gonna go to view. Now we want to add we're gonna add the basic effects tab here. We want to add it on here, so I'm gonna go ahead and click add. There we go. Now we have it here. You can even pin it if you don't want to lose it again. All right, so first thing you see here is going to be the LUT filters. These are going to be presets that you can apply to your video. So if I click this drop down, you can see that there's about 10 of these, right? So let's pick Proxima. So this is going to apply to our video. So these you can just experiment and see which ones you like. If you find a good one, then great. You don't need to do all of this here, okay? So you can try all of this. But if you don't want to use LUT filters here, you can just go to don't use LUTs. Now you can also import, which is something we're not going to cover in this course. We're just trying to do the basics here. Now, some of the settings you have here is going to be brightness. If you want to increase the brightness of the video, or maybe lower the brightness. So let's do a little bit here. You also have the ability to change the contrast here. So you can lower the contrast, increase the contrast. So let's lower this a little bit here. All right. So you also have, the gamma here. If you want to do that, like that. Over here, cool. And you can also control the RGB colors, so red, green, blue. So these, if you want to do the opposite of green, or add more of that, you can always reset by clicking this here if you forget what your settings were. So we want to make this a little blue, or We can make it purple here, kind of like that. So these you just have to experiment until you find the look that you're looking for. So let's do this here. Okay, you can also control the temperature if you want it to be kind of like colder or maybe warmer here. So this is a little warmer, like that. So you bring in life into the video here. You can also change the tint if you want to add tint on here. You can do that. So you can see that you have like a purple tint as we go to the right. And you also have saturation. You can sharpen the image. So if you have you know, like hazy footage, you know, you can always sharpen it by increasing this. This would definitely sharpen your image. And when you sharpen an image, you also want to increase the contrast here, so it's more focused. You can also add blur to the image if it's something that you're aiming for. You know, if you're doing some kind of an effect, you can do that and like add a little blur. So then go ahead and go back here. Now that's going to be the basic. Now if you go down here, we have some more advanced stuff which we're not going to cover in this course. We're going to cover this in the advanced course, but you can definitely do the curves here. If you do like a basic S curve, you're going to be able to do it on here and even change you know, using the hue and saturation curves as well. If anything, you can always use the LUT filters that are already created for you. These are some really good ones as well. We can, you know, apply that. The cool thing is you can apply the LUT filter on top of your edit. Look at this. This just looks amazing. But yeah, so that is how you're going to be able to do some basic color correction, and I'll see you guys on the next one. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how you can add text on your videos. So we're going to be using this clip here. We're going to be adding some text on this. So we're going to make sure that the text is selected here, and we're going to go to editor, and you're going to go ahead and go to add object, and you're going to go all the way down to text. Where's it at? Over here, and select text. So the shortcut for this is going to be Shift plus T. So go ahead and do that. And here, I want to make sure that I insert a new layer. So this is going to be the default, but make sure that it's selected. If it's not, hit OK. And the next thing you want to do is going to be to draw a text box where you want your text to be. Say over here. So we'll just draw a text box here. Awesome. Now you can start typing. So I'm going to type in something like, look at say, boxing match. Okay, so you can see I already have some default settings here that are showing up. So if I select the text here, we have some settings we could change here. So the first thing is going to be, we can start with the font itself. So if you have a favorite font that you want to use, you can do that here. So let's say I want to use Impact. So these are going to be the fonts that are already in your computer. So if you have it installed in your computer, it's going to show up in here. You're going to be able to use it. Okay, now you can also change a bunch of things here. So using regular, you can change that. You can also change how big the font is. So I could do 70. Let's do 192. Okay, that's actually pretty big. So cool thing to notice here is that this text is gonna fit within the text box that you create. So if you make it bigger than the text box, you're gonna start to see something like this. Okay, so let's put this at 96. I think that's pretty good. Now there's a bunch of other things you can change here, you know, a lot of things, but I'm just going to show you the important ones. You can also align. As you can see, this is right or left aligned. It's on the left side, as you can see up here. So if I wanted to put it maybe in the center like that, or this is to spread it out, but if you wanted to, let's go back here. You can go like this. Now it's in the center here, and this is going to be how spread out it is, right? So I can go like this, where it fills out the entire box, right? Which is a pretty cool effect. And you can have it in the center, right? Bunch of options here. Let's go ahead and select. I think this one is better. All right, cool. So this is what my text looks like. There's a couple things I want to show you here. I'll select all of it. If you go to the right side here, the first thing is going to be the text color, right? You can change the text color here. Let's make it red, like a really bright red. There you go, text color. Now the next thing we can actually change is going to be the brush color, which is the background, right? So if I wanted the background to be, I don't know what goes with red here. You want to make sure that this is selected actually. Now we're gonna select blue here, like this dark blue. You can see that we have our background. Now you can also change the contour color. So if you wanted to do kind of like a highlight at the edges of the text, let's just do a white one here. So white. So as you can see, we kind of like have a white highlight on all the text that is in here, right? So let's say you're done editing your text, you can click out of it. As you can see, our text is right here, right? So you can always click on it and you can move it around by clicking and dragging, right? You can even make it smaller if you want to do that, but it's going to cut into your text. You can make it bigger, that kind of like that. So you are going to be able to adjust it and move it anywhere you want on this screen here. So that is pretty much the basics of how you can add text on here. Another cool thing here I forgot to show you is going to be your text is going to be right up here. So like you can make this layer a little bigger, and here you're going to have the ability to decide where you want it to be, right? So at the beginning of the video here, there's no text because it starts over here. So you can move it around if you wanted to start at the beginning of the video, or if you want it to be within, you know, a couple of seconds of the video, you can trim this down to maybe here, right? Maybe it's an intro, kind of like that. So it can only be at the beginning, right? Once it runs out of this, there's no more text on the screen. So that's how you can adjust the position and when it actually starts. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I will see you guys on the next video. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how you can add audio to your videos and how you can apply some of the audio effects that are built into a VSDC video editor. So to get started here, I'll just go ahead and drag and drop my audio in here. So this audio file is obviously bigger than the video that's in here. So I'm going to trim this down just like we could do with videos. So you can split this and delete the rest of it, or you can trim it down. So I'll go ahead and trim this down to about right here, okay? Let's trim it a little more, maybe to over here. Awesome. So now we have our audio file. So you can move it around just like you can do with video clips. You can split it just like you can do with video clips as well. Now to add audio effects, you want to go to editor and you're going to go to audio effects. So I want to show you a few here, and some of these you can just explore. So some of the ones that you can use is normalized audio. So if you had, let's say it was a voiceover, and you know, sometimes you speak really loud and sometimes you speak really low, so you kind of like want to normalize the audio so you don't have those jumps. So you can hit on normalize audio, and you can I usually do 90% to 80. You always want to do that, so you kind of like have a gap between you know, 80% or 90% and 100%, right? And you can just go ahead and hit OK. And this might take long depending on how long your video is, and it's going to go ahead and normalize your audio. Now, if we go back to audio effects, a few more, you can amplify. If it's too quiet, you can do that. And, you know, sometimes I use these a lot with music, so you can fade the music in, right? So you can add a new layer. So you can see it's going to be added to the beginning of the video, the audio here. If we go back here, so if I close this like that, and I double click on the audio, you see that at the beginning, we have a fade in, right? So it's going to be the same way if you wanted to apply, you want to fade out. Go to what is it, fade out. There we go, hit OK. This is going to be applied at the end of the video, right? Let's go back here. So now that's how you apply some of the basic audio effects. You have silent, invert wave. These aren't really important. You can also delay, you know, getting into more advanced things here. You also have filters that you can add here. Now you can also go to, what is it, special. You can reverse the audio if you want to do that. These are more for specific situations, but for the most part, you're just going to be using the amplitude here. You normalize your audio, maybe you amplify it if it's too low. You add a fade in and fade out effect. Some of these are just advanced things that a lot of people never use. But once you're done, we go back to our audio here. We have our audio. You can see that it fades in. As you can see, it's flattened the wave here, right? And as you go up here and you go at the end, it fades out. So that's kind of like how this works. So that's how you add audio on your videos and how you can add some of those basic you know, audio effects that are gonna help your audio. So I'll see you guys on the next video. Now that we've finished editing our video, we have some audio here, we have some text, we have an actual video here with some effects and transitions. The last thing you want to do once you finish editing your video is going to be exporting the video. So that's what I'm going to be showing you in this video. So to get started with that, we're going to go to export project over here. So export project. I've already exported this a couple of times, but I want to show you how I did it. So there's a couple ways you can do here. This can be really confusing. So I'll show you two ways of doing this. The first way is going to be, you can hit on web here, Now, if you're exporting this for YouTube, for Instagram, for Facebook, I think this is a really great feature that kind of like does the work for you, right? It knows what's good for YouTube, what's good for Instagram, what's good for Facebook. So I'm gonna go ahead and select YouTube here. So once you do that, you can just go ahead and hit export project, and this is gonna export the project. But before you do that, you want to go all the way down here. You're gonna see this is gonna be the output file, right? So it's gonna show you where it's gonna save and how it's gonna save. So if you click on change name, you can change the name. As you can see, this is saving as a course project. That's the name of it, right? Save. And also, you also have the profile here, which you can see this is H264 AVC, and you also have this is an ultra quality video. I believe was it so if you want to see more, you can go to edit profile. All right, so you can go down here to video settings here. So you can change things such as the resolution, right? If you want to customize the resolution part, click the drop down and you can do 1920 by 1080 if you want to do that, or you can do a custom, right? These are things you can actually change here. You can also change, let's see here, what else can change? So you have the width and you have the quality. If you want to increase the quality as well, to 100%, doesn't really matter. And you can also change the frame rate. If you want a specific frame rate, you are going to be able to do that. So once you're done, just go ahead and hit apply to profile. And once you do this, you go ahead and hit export the video, and this is going to be exported to this location here, right? So if I hit export, and you can see that the duration is up here, right? It's not going to take too long because this is a pretty short video. Now, since I used YouTube here as my profile that I selected, it's going to ask me if I want to upload this to YouTube. Now you can go ahead and click yes, and it's going to ask you to log in and things like that, right? So if you want to do that, just go ahead and go through this here, and you just go ahead and hit upload, and it'll do that for you. Or you can go ahead and find your video exactly where it's saved. As you can see, this is the video here, right? I know you told your friend you're not okay. So that's our video. Now, another way you can export this, you can use the PC. If you're just gonna save the video in your computer, so you can click on PC. And for the second part, you can select you're converting to AVI, or you can do any other option here that you want to do. But I would just recommend just clicking AVI. Now, you can also change the profile as well, right? If you want to specify it, just like we did before, you can pick any of these up here. I always go with ultra high quality. If it's a long video, you can go with like maybe normal or maybe high quality. Now you can also down here you can change, like I said before, you can change the resolution. You can leave this at original because the original video is 1920 by 1080, so you don't really have to change this. But if you want to, you can do it. You can do whatever you want to do here. Now you can also change the frame rate here. If you want to do a specific frame rate, we could do like 60 FPS. Once you're done, go ahead and hit apply, and you can hit export, and your video is going to be exported. So that was a quick guide to how you can export videos. Obviously, there's a lot of things you can do. If you wanted to export as a GIF, you can do it this way. If you wanted to export as all of these options, you are going to be able to do that. If you want to do it for iPhone, Android, DVD, it's a lot of things you can do here for PS4, mobile, Xbox, so many things. If you want to burn this to a DVD, you are going to be able to do that with all these options. But I just wanted to show you a basic quick guide of how you can export your videos quickly, and I have them out published and do whatever you want to do with them. But that's pretty much it for this video. I'll see you guys on the next one.